I sat the first TMUA sitting in October 16th, and looking back at it, I wish I did some things different. Here are the top 5 things I wish I could do differently if I did the TMUA again. Number 1. Do all the papers 3 times. I've got the mic. Specifically noting what I got wrong and what I need to improve on. 90% of the time, most of the TMUA questions, same, but they're framed differently. They recycle the TMUA questions. Skills and techniques needed in the past papers will be the same skills and techniques that will be needed in the future papers. You'll get a feel for the structure of the exams and how it is laid out. For example, there's always going to be a series question, and there's also going to be a differentiation integration question most of the times at the beginning of the exam to sort of like warm you up. Just knowing these small nuggets of gold is going to be so valuable, because it means that you have a leg up on your competitors and the people around you, which means you're going to score higher than them. It could mean the chance between you getting accepted into a university and you getting rejected from a university. On to my second tip. Make sure that you get a book to help you get the basics down on the TMUA specification. Talking about the specification, we're moving on to point number 3. That is to use the GOAT R2 Drew 2 for your specification and to help you get the basics down for your TMUA. And it's just an all-around great YouTube channel to help you ace a TMUA. To be honest, I shouldn't even be needing to say this because R2 Drew 2 is like the #1 revision resource there is out there for the TMUA, so this should be an obvious one. The videos that R2 Drew 2 has specifically on the TMUA specification is really vital for you to do, for you to follow, and for you to understand, particularly if you have never seen these concepts ever in your life. For example, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If only if and if and only if. That is just pain. Properly study it and make sure you know it. And don't just learn the specification and then separately apply it to exam questions. The best way for you to understand the specification is if you look at it in tandem with the exam style questions and the past papers. And this is actually what R2 Drew 2 does. He gives you a basic overview and a basic summary of the new concepts in the specification, and then he goes straight into exam style questions because he knows that's the best way for students to learn and in order to grasp the new specification. Look at the exam style questions yourself, try to do it using the concepts that he taught you, see if you got it correct. If you didn't get it correct, see why you didn't get it correct, and then remodel the way that you think about that concept in your brain, and then try some more. There's only going to be so much that they can ask you in exam, so knowing all the different types of exam style questions that could come up help you feel secure when you walk into that exam hall. Now on to tip number 4. Stank I don't know what I'm talking about. 4. That's how you say, I'm pretty sure. Practice using the software and the equipment that they will give you in the actual exam. In the exam, they'll use this sort of driving test-esque sort of software. So you can go back, forth, and you can flag a certain question, and you can go to a specific question that you want. And it's laid out like that, and it's all online. There's no physical things they have to write out. So just knowing what you have to do when you get into that exam hall and when you're doing that exam, it will help you feel. It's all about feeling confident for when you walk into that exam hall. You know exactly what you're expecting, and the only thing that you have to worry about and the only thing that should be on your mind is, how do I answer this question, not how do I click to the next question. If you just go into their website, you can get a sample test and that will show you exactly how it works. So just go into the website and you can see how it works. One more thing is, they use whiteboards. They could either use whiteboards, they could give you pencil and paper. When I did a TMUA, in a test center that I did it in, they gave me pencil and paper, and I thought this was a norm, but apparently they also give out whiteboards. So just be careful and know that you can either get whiteboards or pen and paper. Personally, because I use whiteboards for the MAT, and I really just like using pen and paper more because it's more I'm more suited to. But if you can, try to get some whiteboard, try practicing on whiteboard to see how it feels, and just to make sure that you're ready for whatever comes up in the actual exam. And finally, this brings me on to my last tip. Well, if you're not counting the bonus tip, prepare exactly what you're going to do on the day of the exam. And also, just another quick bonus tip, make sure you get a good night's rest. If you don't get a good night's rest, you're not going to be able to answer any questions at all. You haven't done any revision at all. It's much better to get a good night's rest. I know everybody knows this, but I'm telling you, please get a good night's rest. If there's an option between getting a good night's rest and doing exam practice, cramming in some extra exam practice before the day of the exam, it's much better to get a good night's rest. You cannot function if you do not have a good night's rest, trust me. Make sure that you prepare on the day what you're going to do on the day of the exam before that day comes. Because again, this is about feeling safe, not feeling safe, this is about feeling secure and not having to rush on the day of the exam. Because again, the last thing that you want is to be missing your train and you're stressing that you can't get to the exam hall or you're running out of time. So number one tip, make sure that you arrive there early, but not too early. Know where your exam hall is. I know, so what happened with mine, Gmail that they sent to me, it said the address is this. When I entered that into Google Maps, it wasn't, that wasn't the correct address. So I was going around and around in circles trying to find it, but they gave me the wrong address in the Gmail. Luckily, I arrived there like 1.5 hours early, so I was alright, but it took me like 1 hour to find the actual thing. So that could happen to you as well, so just be careful. They could give you the wrong address. I was very annoyed at that, but oh well, I can't do anything about that. It's already happened. But just again, I don't want that to happen to you, so just make sure that you know exactly what address. Just double check, email them again, and just double check what address you're going to. You know yourself the best, so if there's anything that you can do to calm yourself down or to get into the right headspace on the day of the exam, do that. Because it helps you be calm, zen, and focused. Try to get focused. Get into that flow. Get into that headspace. Become the TMUA person, ready to take that exam, ready to demolish that exam, and walking out of that exam room feeling like you just conquered the world. Get into that headspace. And even if it means like meditation, prayer, whatever it is, do that. And finally, for the bonus tip, make sure, I know it's going to be a drag, it's going to be long, it's going to be a long day for you, but sit down, go on the PMT website, because on the PMT website it has a specification and the notes on proof and logic, and just read both of them. I know it sounds long, but it helps you make sure you know, again, exactly what's coming up in the exam. The notes on proof and logic should be read multiple times because this is a new concept and the new concept should be read thoroughly to make sure that you get it. Don't just like whisk through the thing and be like, yeah, I know all this and all this, yeah. Sit down properly, read section by section, paragraph by paragraph, word by word, until you understand everything that is on there. Don't just, if you don't know what it means, research it more, find out what it means, and then once you understand it, then you can move on to the next part. Don't leave that part, say, oh, I'll do it later. Don't do it later, do it now. The best time to do it was 5 years ago. The best time to do it is now. Do it now. Don't do it later, do it now. So I know it seems like a drag, but just make sure that you read it properly. And that is the top 5 things I wish I could do if I could do the TMUA again. But, well, as well as the one bonus tip. But unfortunately, I cannot. And that is something that I regret. Speaking of regrets, you can watch my video on regrets on my YouTube channel. And while you're at there, you might as well subscribe. That video talks about everything that I just have like a splurge and a brain dump on everything that I have to say about regrets, all the regrets I had, and how I overcame them. So if that sounds like right up your alley, you can go over there and watch it. But apart from that, everyone take care. I hope you do good in the TMUA. Good luck with your TMU revision and peace. Oh, where's my microphone? Microphone gone. There it is. Bye.